They ski straight down a hill,
Uh-huh.
ollie pop up into a reverse luge jump on a rail, and then they do all these flips and quarter turns and quadruple McMuffins. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
And welcome back to Good Vibes FC. I'm Sam Mewis. I'm coming at you live, not live, from the Women's Game World headquarters in Vermont.
And I'm Lynn Biondolo, coming to you from not live, Australia.
Not live, but recently. But Lynn's also tomorrow. So we're not live, but Lynn's kind of live in a way. Good Vibes FC is presented by our great friends over at Olipop. Use code TWG20 for 20% off at drinkolipop.com. Today on the podcast, we're going to update you all about our catastrophes from last week. We're going to recap my visit to London to see Kristie. Then we've got some NWSL preseason stuff to just yap about, including a recent call for more trash talk in the women's game. And finally, we've got an email from Carolyn about some news very near and dear to Lynn's heart. It does have to do with the Olympics. But first, Lynn, what's going on with you over there in the future?
Not much. I just got back from the doctor. My baby's looking great.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it.
Huge.
Big baby.
Big baby. We basically got to like see the baby, and they're like foot and mouth and hand were all in the same location. And I was like, how are you folded up like that? Like, how are you doing that? But anyway, that's all I'm really doing. And just like trying to enjoy the slow in my life before everything gets all crazy.
I know. You and me were texting about that the other day, and I was just like, I always in my head, I'm like, I just want a slow pace. And then I get a slow pace for like one day, and I'm like, I'm bored.
I know, same. I feel like that's the same thing about like when we would play and we'd be like, we need a vacation. And then we get on vacation and I was like, I need
to go to the field to run. Like, get me home now.
Marley would always be like, you're crazy. Like, relax. But that is kind of how I feel now. Like I keep saying I'm trying to enjoy the slow, and then I like come up with a project. I'm like, we need to renovate our bathroom.
Literally, I was going to say, I envision you like barefoot, pregnant, painting the kitchen, like literally doing the most tasks.
Yeah, we have like a bathroom in our laundry room, and I have convinced myself that I need to wallpaper it. So I'm like looking for wallpaper online right now.
I love wallpaper. I like fully support that. Of course, I don't have one single strand of it in my house because like I don't do projects, but
yeah, so I'll let you know how it goes. And then I'm going to move on to this room that I'm in currently, Marley's like game room area. Like it needs my baby can't possibly come into the world with a non-wallpapered bathroom, obviously.
No. That would be bad parenting. I wanted to check in, but I promised that we would update everybody about the catastrophes. The catastrophes, it's a new segment. It's just basically we tell you our latest catastrophe. Lynn's catastrophe was her gestational diabetes test. And I know you had a doctor's appointment recently, so I just wanted to check in on that. Did you get your other one done?
Well, I did a different test.
Did the finger prick.
I did the finger prick because I physically couldn't do it. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
And is it all good? It's all
over?
I'm
good.
Catastrophe averted?
Yeah, no diabetes here. So I will be eating ice cream. I will be eating fruit.
Good. Well, thank you for reminding me about my catastrophe, which was that I was leaving on a 10-day trip, and 2 days into it, I woke up and realized I forgot all of my left eye contacts. And like when I tell everybody like the way I responded, so like in a crisis, like I am really resourceful, and like I will come up with plan A, B, C, D, E, and F. But like it doesn't stop there, folks. Like I am so resourceful because I'm in fight or flight. So it's like I assume that if I don't get a left contact for my trip, well, like one, I can't go on the trip. And it's just like, okay, like you were never really going to like cancel your trip. So exactly. So I just made 8 plans.
Yeah.
And I just think like what I wish for myself, like the better version of myself, gets a backup plan, is calm, and just goes, okay, I've done everything I can do. Something's probably going to work out, and now I'm just going to like rest and like move on. And if I have to wear my glasses, I have to wear my glasses.
What would happen if you didn't have a left contact and you forgot your glasses?
That would actually be fight or flight. Like I would die. Like if the world ended, if the zombie apocalypse came, Lynn, I would die. Like if my contacts stopped being sourced and created, like, and my glasses broke, she's done.
Okay, but what if it's just the left? Like, could you just like wear an eye patch?
I've thought about wearing an eye patch. Yeah, I've definitely thought about that and I did stretch. Like, this is not condoned by a doctor or even me. Like, I'm like embarrassed that I did this, but like I did like wear my daily like more than once, which is like gross and not healthy.
Okay, I have a question, but I have a quick story. When we won the championship in like 2019 or whatever year it was, we had a friend that came to the game, obviously so drunk, and the next day I see her and her eye is like so red, and I was like, what happened to your eye? And another friend of ours goes, well, she kept taking her contact out because it was like there was something in there and putting it in her mouth to clean it off and then sticking it back in her eye, and then she kept doing that. And so
was this person on our team?
No. I don't want to say their name because
do I know this person?
Yes, you do, but I like don't want to out them. But I kept being like, ew. And also your eye is so infected and red. So at least you didn't do that.
Literally they got an eye infection.
Yeah, at least you didn't do that.
Luckily my catastrophe didn't turn into a snowball. Like so plan A worked. Pat overnighted me extra
amazing.
contacts, and they came when they said they'd come. So it's just like plans B, C, D, E, and F like weren't necessary to like spike my cortisol for 48 hours. Like it was just like not a great response.
No, but like that's natural. Because like what if for some reason it says it's coming tomorrow and it doesn't, because that happens all the time.
Exactly. So then of course you need plan B, and then what if that one doesn't come?
And
plan
of course
C,
then you just that one obviously have to panic.
So then it was not, in a way I'm proud of myself, but in a way I'm like, you can be better at this. I do think I'm like kind of scarred though, Lynn, when it comes to eyes, and I kind of alluded to this on the last show, because I was like, what am I going to wear my glasses? What are my 4 eyes? And I like made fun of myself. But I do think it's coming from this place of like never wanting to exhibit any signs of weakness in like a national team setting. Yeah. So like I don't know if I've ever told you this, but like I never once wore my glasses down to breakfast because I didn't want like Jill or the coach to like know that I had bad vision. So like I like needed everybody in the national team environment to be like, Sam is strong like Bull, and like she has great vision. So like nobody knew I had glasses.
Yeah, like except mind you, we did like an eye test every year. So everybody
and those people were like, you're like not as strong as you're making yourself out to be.
Yeah, they're like, we know you wear contacts. We have an extra pair in the kit for you.
Jill's like, Sam Mewis, great right foot, terrible eyesight. Sticker on the bench.
You're a lunatic. But I love that about you.
Yeah. So it was a scarring scenario. I just wanted to update everybody. I didn't get nearly as many like emails about it as like I assumed I would. I thought everybody was going to be writing into the chat like, Sam, how's your contacts? Nobody really seemed to care all that much, but I just wanted to update you guys anyway. I did have a great rest of my trip though, Lynn. I went to London to see Kristie. I stayed for like 4 nights. Loved seeing Jagger. He's getting bigger. We took him to the playpen. I don't know if there's any Mewis Squared listeners here, but Kristie takes Jagger to this like basically indoor playground, and he goes in like this ball pit, and it was really, really cute.
Oh, was he like throwing them?
He was kind of throwing them, yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was really, really cute. And we had a great time. I got to go see Steph McCaffrey's paddle facility, Racketeer.
Oh my gosh, I saw that.
Yeah, it was so awesome. I'm like so proud of her. At the risk of like plugging another podcast again, I did recently interview Steph, and we talked a lot about it. Steph is like currently playing for a tier 7 team in England, but she also like her business thing is that she just opened this like the largest paddle facility in London. Paddle is like very similar to pickleball. That interview's on our YouTube channel if anybody's interested, but seeing it and like being with Steph to like just see her influence on it and how people just like come up to her and are like, she's just created such a cool community there. She's obviously like way better at paddle than me and Kristie were. So me and Kristie like got to like hit a few times, but like we kind of stink. So it was really, really fun. The facility was amazing. And I'm like so proud of Steph. I thought it was just such a cool thing to get to see and like go and support my friend.
I know, it looks incredible. Like every time they post about it, the paddle obviously looks really fun. I would love to try it one day. But then I look and I'm like, there's coffee and there's a juice bar and there's a cafe and then you can get massages. And I'm like, yeah, I need to go.
There's a full gym. There's like sauna, ice baths.
Yeah.
They have beers. I was like,
what more does a girl need?
Say no more. Say no more. It was like actually really, really awesome. So I was psyched for Steph. And then me and Kristie were watching the Olympics. Have you been watching the Olympics?
I have a little bit, yes.
What have you been watching? I like need to vent.
Well, I've been watching the downhill skiing and I'm like, that you're going too fast, like way too fast. All you have is like a helmet, and I think you need like more padding. Because I did watch this guy fall and his uniform ripped, and I was like, "That's feels like you're going too fast." And then I've been watching. I just watched an ice skater freestyle. I think U.S. men's did a backflip.
I saw.
Feels too dangerous. Too dangerous.
I saw. I just get this really like. Because I'm just like a summer sport athlete, winter sports just feel really like violent to me.
Violent. So
like,
violent.
I saw this. I've been on like Threads lately. Don't know if like you're hitting up Threads at all.
Yeah.
But I saw this thread from this person, Nikki Blair. I don't know who that person is, but the thread struck me as hilarious. She wrote, "The Winter Olympics are nuts. Everyone either has knives on their feet or throwing themselves down a mountain. And then there's curling." And I just thought it was so funny. I was like, it's so true. Like you're either, there's knives somewhere.
Yeah.
Ice skating, luge, something's sharp. I don't actually know if anything is sharp in luge, but like it feels sharp.
Yeah. Or you're just literally the thing that you're on.
Oh, it just feels so like violent and dangerous. And I just like wish everybody well.
I know. The Winter Olympics people are crazy. Good for them. I have like so much respect, but like, everything is also hard. Like the snow looks really hard. The ice field looks hard. So if you fall down, I'm like, I feel like I've seen people just posting pictures and saying like, took a nasty fall in the training run, and it's like their whole body's like scraped up. But then they're like, but I got a medal. I'm like, you have 17 broken ribs. This is crazy. Good for you.
Yeah, they are like the bravest people in the world. I was watching, it's called Freestyle Ski Slope. I had to read that because like I can't keep all those words straight in my head. And I like kid you not, Lynn. Like when I say like the announcers didn't even know what moves the people were doing because they were so many twists and turns and flips. Like I couldn't even like believe that it's like a thing. Do you like that's the one where they ski straight down a hill, ollie pop up into a reverse luge jump on a rail, and then they do all these flips and quarter turns and quadruple McMuffins. It's like literally the craziest. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This is my top 3 craziest things that I've seen at the Olympics. 1, the double luge, where you're like stacked on top of each other. I was like, that's insane. 2, I don't know what this is, but it's like there's like little patches of like bumps, and they like I'm like, your knees are breaking like every time they're going back and forth.
Oh, I don't know what that's called either, but I love that one.
I'm like, knees broken to a jump, and I'm like, okay, that was crazy. And then
I swear I can like feel their hips grinding together. Like I can feel like the bones hitting.
Yeah, there's bursas out. There's a couple of bursas out there. And then the last one that I think is so cool, but also I'm like, what? Is they're going up a jump, but their arms are so straight, and then they start like windmilling their arms, and then it just like it's almost like they just bonk right into the ground. And I'm like, how did you stick that? There was like no slope. I don't even know what it's called. I don't know what any of them are called, but I'm impressed.
They're all called some version of ski style something.
Jumps.
Downhill, reverse osmosis stones.
But honestly, I'm having fun watching. It's like it's impressive, and
so
I'm like,
fun. It's amazing. I wonder if Winter Olympians feel this way about Summer Olympians. If they're just like those freaks, they're just out there running around on the land.
Yeah, or they're complaining about this little thing. I have 17 broken ribs, like, and I'm still competing.
Winter Olympians are different for sure.
Oh wait, I also want to know if like speed skating translate well to like running. Like if you're a fast runner, are you a fast speed skater?
I wouldn't know. Like, I doubt it's like a direct correlation.
All right. Did you watch though? Have you been watching the Super Bowl?
Have I been watching the Super Bowl?
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes, I did watch the Super Bowl. I was freshly home from my travels, but I did watch. I was bummed for the Patriots. Though I will admit I have not been watching the NFL like I used to. I just love women's sports too much I don't make time for men's sports anymore. But I always make time for the halftime show, and I loved the halftime show.
Same. Loved it. Didn't know a word of it.
Me neither, but it was so good, and now I'm singing like the wrong words vaguely, but like I'm gonna learn. I need to learn.
Same. I keep going around to the house, and this isn't right at all, but I keep going, Buenos noches. Buenos noches. And Marley's like, that's not the words. And I'm like, I don't know what the words are, but those are the words I know.
Bad Bunny is so good. He's also like so hot. And like, I don't know like why I was like not on this train before.
But now you're on.
But like now I'm like, okay, I'm here now.
I just wanted to be a part of it. Like it looked so fun. I didn't understand what was happening half the time, but I just felt the energy and I wanted to now go be a part of that.
Totally agree. It was amazing. It was obviously also just like a great like statement of like positivity and inclusivity and love. And I 100%. Thought it was like really powerful. I thought it was, and again, I clearly like don't know enough about this to be like making this kind of statement, but I thought it was like such a beautiful representation of Puerto Rico and his home and culture and family. And like, it seemed like such a great like celebration. And so I just felt like that was something a lot of people like, I hope really enjoyed seeing and feeling, and like kind of what's, been a really difficult time in our country. Like I felt like that was like so beautiful and positive and like happy.
I agree. Not only his home, but like America itself. You look around and America is such a mixed bag of people. It's not just white, black, Mexican, Hispanic. Like there's Asia, we are a mixed bag country. And I felt like that was what was powerful about his performance as well, is that you're bringing all of these different cultures together, and that's what makes up the United States. And so I felt like the message was amazing, and I thought again that the just like energy and the culture and the vibe about it was, I was like, yeah, I need to get involved. Yeah, I need to go dancing right now.
It was so fun. I don't like know enough. I don't like care to like really talk about the football much unless you are like have like a strong statement about like the game itself.
Go Seahawks.
There you go.
Seattle. Obviously, I'm a huge Seattle Seahawks fan. Die
hard.
Yeah. For a whole year, I've been a diehard fan.
Okay, a great start to the podcast, Lynn. I'm already having a blast. We are going to take a really quick break, but when we get back, we are going to start getting ready for the NWSL season. We have a conversation about the culture around women's soccer and how that's changing, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, Lynn, so we're in the midst of NWSL preseason, getting ready for what I presume will be another huge year of growth for the league. I want to talk about like the culture of women's soccer, both like on the field and at the game in the stands. But first, I feel like I need to like ask you, as we start to get ready for the season, this is the first time you're not part of preseason like in person in at least 10 years.
I know. It kind of feels weird. By kind of, I mean it does. It feels really weird. I've been like checking the group chat and messaging in there a lot, and I'm like, can you guys tell that I have nothing to do because I'm just asking random questions and trying to chat? They're like, Lynn, we got
also
preseason.
probably at like 4 a.m. They're probably like, Lynn,
I know.
Why are you messaging us all night?
I'm like, hey, so how's it going? What'd you guys do today? They're like, we had testing. It was hard. Don't remind us. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Good luck.
Yeah. One of the like grimmest moments is like leaving the team group chat when you like change teams or like reluctantly retire.
I know.
So just enjoy it. Enjoy it while you're in there. What do you feel like, this is kind of like a silly question, but like, what do you feel you're preparing to like have a family? You're like in family preseason, baby preseason. Like, what is your preseason looking like?
I kind of am. I'm like looking at how many baby clothes I have.
Do you have a lot?
I got some like newborn size clothes, but like not a lot because I heard they grow out of them very quickly. Like I need to go look at bottles, but then again, like some babies, the bottle situation. So I don't really know about that. Like they don't take to some bottles, so I don't want to like buy a lot of those. I got a bassinet. I got a car seat and a stroller. I need to like get things for myself for recovery for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm preparing. I'm also doing like exercises for game time.
Pelvic floor exercises
to make sure baby evacuates smoothly, hopefully. But yeah, it's so funny though, because Marley
nervous.
I know. Am I giggling weird? Am I nervous? Marley keeps saying it's so funny. He'll be like, yeah, when we get back to Seattle, we'll do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, we can do those things, but we will have a baby. And he's like, oh my gosh, we're going to have a baby. And I'm like,
yeah,
yes, we are.
It's definitely going to be a different day to day.
Yeah.
In a wonderful way.
Yeah. I think in a way that I can't even imagine yet.
Yeah.
Until it's just happening. But no, I'm obviously really excited. It's just, again, I feel like my life right now has slowed down a lot.
Yeah. Did you get my registry contribution?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Actually, do you know what it is? Because I forget.
The bouncer?
Is it a bouncer?
Yeah.
Guys, I hate to brag, but a lot of my friends are having babies. So I've been buying the baby stuff for the girls, and I just forgot what I got you.
Do you feel like you're like, whoa, everybody's having a baby right now? Everybody needs to like calm down. It's like
not everybody needs to calm down. I think we are of age.
That is true. I don't know what you're talking about.
It is an appropriate time.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a 32-year-old teen pregnant person. And I need to know where the adults are.
Literally, this is a conversation for another day. I do want to use this as a little bit of a transition because I think that the idea of more players having babies is kind of a part of this conversation, of this like culture shift, like in a distant way, because I really want to start with like the environment created at games. And I think women's sporting events have kind of always been just talked about as like a good place to take your kids. It's a family environment. Like it's very wholesome and like nice. And so I think, you know, as we come of age and like, you know, a lot of people are having kids and thinking about those types of things and those types of environments, I think that this conversation about the NWSL and even the U.S. Women's National Team is interesting. And I think that what I like about this way of thinking about it is that like people who may not necessarily feel like safe or welcome at we'll just say a men's sporting event, I think have come to feel really safe and really welcome at like an NWSL game. And I think that's amazing. I think it feels like just maybe like a safer and more inclusive and more like open, welcoming space. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think with the NWSL, especially, it has been a very inclusive place, and I love that for all different types of people, right? But my only like qualm with women's sports or women's soccer has been this push or this idea of that it's always the target market is young girls. And of course I want to inspire the next generation. Of course I want people to look up to me and look up to everybody playing professional soccer, women's professional soccer, and say, yes, I can do that. But that shouldn't necessarily be our target audience. Like, we are professional athletes first and foremost. I didn't necessarily start playing thinking in my mind, like, I want to inspire the next generation. It's a byproduct and it's beautiful, but I want people to come and enjoy soccer just like they do the men's game as well. Like, just they have a love for the space, and hopefully that space is also inclusive. Does that make any sense? Am I making sense here?
Yes. And I want to like dive more into it. And I think it's like, I feel like you're bringing up a few things. One of them is the environment at the stadium. Yeah. It's like the game day experience. you know, sometimes it's curated for kids. And I think historically more so it was like curated for kids. We love that. We want kids to be
I'm not saying take that
psyched to
away.
come to these games. Totally. I totally agree. Something that have been thinking a lot about when it comes to like the environment at the stadium is drinking. In a typical, like, let's say men's sports NFL stadium game, there's like mass drinking going on. And that, of course, I don't, you know, when people are like drinking a lot, of course, could create more controversy, more tension. Maybe there's anger about the other team. Maybe it's just a less welcoming environment, in part due to the alcohol. So like, even at like a men's Premier League game in England, the fans are not allowed to have alcohol at their seats in the stadium with them. Yeah. Like, you can't drink in the stadium because it like incites literally violence, like against the other team. It's like not allowed. But for example, in the WSL in England, they're experimenting with allowing fans of the women's teams to have drinks at their seats with them in the stadiums. It's like an experiment, but it's, I think, acknowledging that it doesn't have to be men's sports is the rule and the standard, but it also doesn't have to be, this is just a place to bring the kids. I think it's just like an interesting example of how women's sports doesn't have to be modeled after men's sports, but it also doesn't have to be just made for kids.
I completely agree. I was actually just talking to Marley about this yesterday, about Beyonce's song, like, girls, who runs the world? Girls. Like, not that I don't like the song, but when I'm in a stadium and I hear that song being played, it really like makes me a little bit annoyed, because it's always like when you get to the game, there's like, what female empowerment thing can we do? And it's like, what's
a little too on the nose.
Yeah. I'm like, the thing that we are doing that's female empowering is playing a sport as a female. Like, that's the thing. We are professional athletes first and foremost, that get heated, who are passionate, who like will do anything to win. And that's where I hope women's sports can continue to go. I think in the past 10 years in our playing career, obviously it's grown so much, but I think that's where I hope it continue to go. And then I also think that as a viewer, I would love to people go to the game because they're like, this is a cool Saturday night activity that I want to do.
One of the reasons I love going to the Vermont Green games so much, just as a fan, like, some of my like most fun times last summer was just going. So I like coached this local team in Vermont, the Vermont Green women's team, but we only had 2 games. Mm-hmm. But the Vermont Green men's team, I would just go to those games as a fan, and I would just like sit in the stands and like have a beer and like cheer and like get excited. And I think it's such a perfect example of an environment that's like, of course it's family friendly and there's a ton of kids there, but like, there's also people like drinking and getting rowdy and like cheering and like kind of like talking the other team. And it's like so energetic, and it's, you know, it's not violent or like horrible, or like, Vermont Green is like the most inclusive, beautiful organization I can think of, but it's feeding this like competitive nature that we all have. We all want our team to win.
The reason why the NWSL is so inclusive is because you don't get the stuff that you get at the men's game of like going there and having people say the craziest things ever to you, or like fights breaking out, or like all of that stuff, right? But I do think that there needs to be like a middle ground of, you can have a good time, you can drink if you want, but on the other hand, like, I want kids to still be able to go and cheer for their like favorite team and their favorite player and like look up to them. Like, I think that there is a world in which they can like coexist together.
Making the games really appealing to like an independent crowd of like 20 and 30 and 40 somethings who, like, I think about, I think Angel City used to do this early on, but they would leave them on screen until they chugged their beer. And then I also think about North Carolina. I swear to God, one time had like $1 beer night. And I'm like, bring out the young crowd, like bring out the 20, 30 somethings, bring out the like, what's the word? Independent spender. What's that word?
I don't know, but yes, I love that. Independent spender.
Well, an independent spender. Bring them out. $1 beer night, $1 hot dogs. Let's go. Let's call them indie spendies.
Indie spendies. Okay.
I've got a disposable income. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. People who are like, I got money to spend.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I think where we've landed is for like clubs and teams to try to create an environment that actually caters to both. I think that sounds like the most fun and like the best way of going about it. I want to talk about the other side of this, which is the players and like the behavior on the field and how in women's sports that kind of gets perceived and gets talked about. What is like the on field like behavior from the players and like what are the players exhibiting? And part of what kind of sparked this for me to bring up this week was that recently Trinity Rodman did an interview about how she wishes it wasn't about this, but in the interview, she said she wishes that there was more trash talk.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, Trinity just set these records, becoming the highest paid women's soccer player, this huge deal to re-sign with the Washington Spirit. Obviously an incredible role model for young girls. And yet here she is being like, we should have more trash talk. We should like be able to express our emotions in this way more. It makes me think about a player like Sonnet, who's so intense. She's like kind of always doing something on the field that like exhibits her competitiveness. And it's not this like, what I think sometimes women athletes have been trained to just be like calm and demure and like nice. I like love when Sonnet and Trinity, remember when they like kind of went at each other a little bit on the field? Like there was this competitive, like,
no, yeah.
Almost like an anger.
Yeah. Well, I think that I like vividly remember growing up and like if you cussed or something, you would get in trouble because they would say, well, what if a little girl heard you?
Yeah.
And I always thought like, again, yes, sure, you want to be a great role model, but like I'm competitive. I want to win. What should inspire little girls is the fact that I'm winning.
It feels like kind of a hard conversation to have because I like hear your hesitation and being like, of course I want to be a good role model.
Of course.
But there is also this side of it that's like, I also am like so competitive and like I do get angry on the field and I do curse and I do like, do you remember when I like this is like so dumb. Do you remember when I like kind of went like chest to chest with Amandine Henri because she like fouled me? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And like I feel like that was like not really in my like MO. So we kind of like laughed about it, but it was just this moment of like competition and like anger. And it was like this display of like almost like aggression. And I feel like typically women are like steered away from behaving like that. What I'm trying to like, figure out in this conversation is the on-field aspect of it. Like what do players, how does players' behavior changing like impact the environment at the stadium and like, the idea of them being like looked up to as role models, I guess.
Part of it too is you can't just say it's like on field, right? Like it's a bigger cultural discussion because like you said, for the longest time, women have been steered not to do that. And then I think society also, if somebody is more aggressive, then they're like, "Ooh, she's being aggressive." And it's like, no, she's being passionate. Remember when Amy Rodriguez went at Sonnet during the Portland game? And fine, like talk about it. Everybody's like, whatever. But then off the field, it's fine. Like they're fine. Like being able to be a professional athlete is when you step it across the line, getting passionate. Sometimes you get in somebody's face, sometimes you trash talk, sometimes you do all these things, and then you stop off and you're like, you can either, if you took it too far, apologize and be like, yeah, my bad, got passionate, or you're like, yeah, it's fine, like we're good.
It reminded me of something Trinity said to me in an interview that I did with her a few months ago, where she's basically talking about how she wants people to remember that professional athletes are human. And I think it's a great way of like framing the rest of this conversation. So I wanted to play that up right now.
Growing up, you always view like professional athletes as like not humans. Like you literally see them as like a higher ground and you're just kind of like, oh my gosh. And I always said before I went pro, I was like, I don't want people to view me that way. I don't want people to look at me and be like, she's untouchable or like she's not like us. And that's what I try to do of like TikToks, emotions, everything. I feel everything and do everything the same as so many other people that aren't even playing a sport. So I just like want that to hit for people, and I want to just be able to be myself at all times and know, for me to know that I'm authentic to myself, but also for other people to know that like you can be yourself and it's fine.
And so what this makes me think is like how valuable it is for players to actually be authentic and real and be who they are, and how much more meaningful it is to show your competitive edge and show that you're a person and that getting fouled did make you mad. And it's like, yes, do I think it's important to be in control and to be like respectful? Yes, I think that's an important example to set. But I think what's important for kids to see is professional athletes being themselves and like acting how they feel and being like truthful. And I thought it was just a really powerful way. And, you know, these comments that Trin made were obviously unrelated, but I think hearing it from her and then hearing her kind of say, I think we need more trash talk. I think we need to be like, you know, out there, like challenging each other. I just thought it was interesting to connect the two from the perspective of like, it's authentic to like show who you are.
I would agree. I also agree with you. Like, yes, you have to be respectful. You have to make sure that like whatever you're doing isn't affecting the game or like the outcome of whatever, you know. But I do think it's important to be yourself. And if you have a moment where you're a passion filled moment where you're like, you fouled me and I'm going to get up and like get in your face because I felt like that was a dirty foul. Like, I think that that's warranted. And you should be able to do that without people looking at you and saying, ooh, you're a bad sport. You need to hold in your emotions.
Well, and especially without the extra connotation of like women shouldn't act like that. Showing that you want to win in a way that's like true to who you are and what you're feeling, I think is authentic. And I think is something that like, sure, even kids can get something from. I always also, this is like not really on the field, but I also always think about how like Midge got, and I think Kelsey Plum also smoked a cigar after she won a championship. Mm-hmm. And then Midge did it when Gotham won. And people were like, this isn't a good example to set. And I'm like, but Midge is a grown-up. I get being a good role model, but I'm like, but Midge is also like a peer to another 30-year-old woman. And I'm like, why can't Midge be true to herself and celebrate her wins and like be a 30-year-old woman that other 30-year-old women can connect with?
Well, I know we get this, I feel like all the time too, or we used to, of like going out and like having a drink in your hand or taking a picture with a drink. And I know I've done
or a red Solo cup.
I know I've done this where I'm like, oh, I can't post that picture because I'm like drinking in it, blah, blah. And now
it was honestly probably just like my drink on your side of the table.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not even mine. I'm the DD. But I think that there's a lot of that going on. You're like, okay, beer is acceptable for some reason, but like if I had shots, that's not acceptable. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
even I'm like, no, that's too far. You can't have shots in a picture.
But what I'm saying is like, I'm not trying to appeal to somebody who's underage. Like, I'm 32. Like, I'm of age and able to do this.
I know. And look, again, I feel like we keep explaining ourselves because we're like afraid of getting yelled at for saying this, which is so interesting to me. But I think taking your platform and your responsibility to be a good person and set a good example is important. Like, I think all of us would agree about that. I think that sometimes I find that it's refreshing for somebody to just be themselves and be authentic and be like, yeah, I might not always be the perfect example for a young child. I think that I can be relatable and be a peer to people my own age. And if I'm not like honest about what I'm going through with my body, that I'm getting older, I'm getting wrinkles. If I'm not like honest about the things I'm struggling with, even if it's not necessarily meant for like a 12-year-old, I think that makes me like a little bit inauthentic. And so I'm like, I see that there's a push and a pull, and I see that there's like a really important balance here that good role models will get right, being authentic to themselves and who they are, being relatable to their peers, but also being like, I'm a positive example for the younger generation. It's just something that I feel women athletes and that I still struggle with in this role of like, well, how honest should I be? Maybe that's not appropriate for like a younger crowd, but I also want my peers to be like, oh my God, I'm going through that too. And that is hard.
Yeah, I think that I do think we have a responsibility to put out something that's tasteful, right? But I also think we have a responsibility to be authentic to ourselves. Now that I'm pregnant and I know I'm going to have to raise this human to be hopefully a outstanding member of society, and look up to people, like I don't necessarily think that only seeing like good things all the time is going to help them be a great person. I think that showing them like, okay, yeah, that person can be passionate about something, but also pushing the sport forward. That person can have a couple drinks and have a good time and have fun and also do X, Y, and Z. It's they're not like extreme. You don't need to cut out one to have everything over here. Like you can, we're like multi-dimensional people. Like there two things can be true at one time. I don't know if multi-dimensional is the right word, but I liked it.
Great. I wish you didn't even question it, because I was like, you're on a roll, Lynn. Keep going. I think like the conclusion here is just that like as the women's sports culture evolves and changes, I find that we don't have to mirror it after men's. We don't have to create the same environment in stadiums. Women athletes don't have to, copy how male athletes behave and act. And we can take what works for us. We can be authentic to ourselves. We can be a good example for kids. And we can also be like relatable and authentic to people our own age. I think it's an interesting and an important time to like continue shaping and carving that and like exploring what works and like what helps the game grow in the best way.
I couldn't agree more, Samantha.
Well, I figured it out somewhere in there. That was a really great conversation, Lynn. I don't feel like we've talked about that much before. And so I'm actually like, I feel like we had a lot to say about it. I do just want to shout out Trinity. I know we used a clip from her interview before, and all the players that we mentioned in this conversation, like I feel are such good examples of authenticity and how that really being yourself is the thing that people should look up to. So Lynn, before we take another quick break, our Olipop gut check of the week. I'm feeling I'm like so blessed that I have one with me here.
I know. I'm like so sad I don't have one.
I know. I'm just going to take my time and take a few sips. Okay, Lynn. So our Olipop gut check of the week is, how can trash talk help shape the culture of women's sports?
I think that my first initial thought of this, I just go straight to Marta, honestly. Anytime anybody's ever...
How have we not mentioned her yet?
I don't know. But like anytime somebody has ever trash talked Marta or she's trash talked them, she
claps back so hard with like literally nutmegging them in a hat trick. And I'm just like...
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, yeah, I think definitely can shape the way people play the game and the culture of the game. You can either get under somebody's skin and they have a horrible time, or you could get under somebody's skin and you now have a horrible time. So
true.
That's my take.
Well, yeah, I think March is a perfect example. And I think it's, again, goes back to this idea of wanting to win, which is something that Marta is so good at. Like her emotions are visible. And so I think it's this like, that doesn't make her a bad sport. That doesn't make her like acting like a man. I think it's such a great way of being authentic, showing that you care, showing that you want to win. And I think that like acceptance of more than just being demure in women's sports, whether you're on the field kind of going up to somebody and being like, hey, that was a dirty foul, or if you're drinking a beer with your baby strapped to your chest in the stands. I think it's just like there is room for both. Like there's room for great sportsmanship and competitiveness and trash talk. There's room in the stands to have a couple beers, and there's room for kids to be running around down the other end of the field. Like women's sports is a place that really can do both. It's, as you said earlier, it's multidimensional, Lynn.
It's multidimensional. And honestly, who's like a better role model than Marta? Like she's out here trash talking, and she's also inspiring literally the world.
And she's also literally the GOAT and so good and backs it up.
So yeah, I guess our gut check is that trash talk is good. 2 thumbs up for trash talk.
It. We love it. You won't catch me doing it ever.
I've never once heard you trash talk.
Except maybe behind closed doors. But you won't ever catch me doing it. Okay, that was our Olipop gut check of the week. Olipop, we love you so much. We need to take one more quick break, but when we come back, we have some quick news updates and an email from Carolyn, so don't leave us. Welcome back to Good Vibes FC. Okay, everybody. In other women's soccer news, NWSL expansion team, the Denver Summit, announced that they've sold 40,000 tickets to their home opener. That puts them just 91 tickets under the all-time NWSL attendance record. And obviously, I'm betting that they're going to break it. We're so excited to watch this team make history. And luckily, today, we have a Denver resident and a Denver Summit season ticket holder here with us. It's the director of TWG, Jen. Jen, can you just jump in here quickly and tell us why you think Denver is going to be such a special place for the NWSL? What's like Denver's vibe?
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because for a team that hasn't even played a game yet, like you see it everywhere around the city. Like you see billboards, like on Empower where they're having their home opener, there's like a giant banner and I see people with like Denver Summit merch everywhere already, which is just like nuts. Like they had like this launch event last summer and the line for merch alone was like 4 blocks long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Like what is it about Denver do you think that makes everybody such quick and passionate NWSL fans?
I mean, Denver is like a massive sports city, and B, like people here are like they identify themselves by their hobbies and their interests. And
that's
soccer
cool.
is a big one, you know, so that's something that's like huge here in general. So I'd say like those are the 2 reasons. And then the other thing I was kind of thinking about is it feels somewhat similar to Kansas City in terms of like Denver's a city, but it feels like a small town kind of. So people really want to like rally and like get behind their team. And like right now, at least we have teams that win. So I think like the enthusiasm is really high.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm excited.
I love that.
Well,
me too.
Besides the altitude situation.
Well, that makes me more excited because I'm like, well, we have an advantage. Maybe.
Shut it, Jen. Just kidding. I am excited. I think that what's happening in the off season right now is incredible. Like the marketing of that team. One, I love like the colors and the logo, and 40,000 tickets is a lot of tickets.
I know. Well, when they first announced Empower, not gonna lie, I was kind of like, oh, like that's gonna be that's big. And now that we're at 40,000 tickets, I'm like, oh, we could sell it out.
Sell it out.
And I think
that's
if
small.
the capacity is like 75, I was like, let's go bigger. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So,
do they have an even bigger stadium? Okay, Jen, thank you so much for the check-in. Maybe you can be like our resident Denver expert.
Would love to.
You're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Tell us their game plans.
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you so much, Jen. Away from Denver, Arsenal beat first place Man City this weekend in the WSL thanks to a great goal from Olivia Smith. Plus, Chelsea beat Tottenham 2-0, which it felt like Chelsea needed that win. Alyssa Thompson scored her 6th goal in league play this season. So just a quick WSL check-in. As it stands now, Man City are still in first with 39 points. After that is Man United with 31 points, then Chelsea with 30 and Arsenal with 29. But Arsenal have a game in hand. So the Champions League race for next season is actually kind of starting to stress me out. Speaking of Champions League.
I love that.
Very good. We do have Champions League games coming up this week. So there's 8 teams vying for just 4 spots that remain in the quarterfinal round. So you can catch Emily Fox and Arsenal taking on Leuven on Tuesday. And then Fallon Joyce and Manchester United are taking on Atletico Madrid on Wednesday. If you want more info on Champions League, this week's matchups, and what it's going to look like in the next round, just make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter. I'm literally like always referencing our newsletter for info, and we covered a lot about Champions League in this week's edition. So you can sign up for that in the link tree in our social media bios. Let's head over to the inbox, Lynn. We got an email from Carolyn that's less of a question, more of a vindication. The email simply says, it wasn't Lynn's fault. And it is a link to an article from The Guardian about officials agreeing to investigate why the Winter Olympics medals keep breaking. I don't know if you've been like following this, Lynn, but
I have.
The medals in Milan, you have. Of course you have. You have a vested interest. The medals in Milan are chipping, cracking, breaking in 2. Of course, we all remember that you also had an incident with your gold medal breaking after the 2024 Summer Olympics. Remind us what motion you were doing with that again?
Hammer, throw. Hammer, throw.
So, Lynn, apparently there were 200 requests for replacements after the Summer Olympics. I'm wondering, like, is this like a class action? Like, have you been asked to like send in footage of your broken medal?
No, I haven't, but I don't think it was my fault. Kind of, a little bit, maybe. The only difference is I have seen people like, especially with the Winter Olympics, just like getting excited and jumping up and down and like the medal breaking, or like I was doing more than
You were being authentic to
I was being
yourself
so
and your
authentic.
feelings.
So I do think that mine was a little bit different where I shouldn't have maybe done that, but also now that I know that they weren't made great, sturdy, maybe another metal would have been able to handle the hammer throw.
Are you feeling vindicated?
Like a little bit. I mean, I feel sad for 200 requests for replacement medals. Like that's a lot of requests. And I feel sad for everybody.
I just feel like there should be, what's it called when something goes wrong with your car and they recall it?
A recall?
I feel like they need to like recall the medals and like resend them.
The difference, I think, that what I'm feeling versus what a lot of other people are probably feeling is like they were like, I didn't do anything. And now I have a broken medal. I worked so hard for this, and now I have a broken medal. Where I will never
You're
replace.
Like, I worked so hard to break it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't actually, because I got offered to like get it fixed, and I'm like, yeah, that probably would have been nice, but I worked hard to get the medal, and then I now have this authentic medal that is broken because I played hard after. And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to fix it. Like that has memories there. But if I was just like,
I hear you.
If I was just like, they put it on my neck and I was like excited taking a picture with my friends and my medal broke, I'd be like, what the hell? Of course I'm getting this fixed. But I was like hammer throwing mine at a party.
Yeah. I think it's just like way more authentic that yours is broken. And like, I hope your kids someday are just like, yeah, my mom is like true to herself.
She's so true to herself. Like, again, also maybe if I could have gotten it fixed before the closing ceremony where I didn't have to walk around in the heat with just my medal like this. Like I had no hands because I was like,
yeah.
But it's like in its box now. So, but I feel sad for people who have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they just won. I mean, they're okay. They're going to be all right.
But Carolyn, you're right. It wasn't my fault. You're so
yeah. Carolyn, we like loved getting this email. Thank you so much. We posted about this too on our social media. It's like reminiscing about Lynn's hammer throw story is like too good. So Carolyn, thank you for bringing this issue to our attention. Don't forget, everybody, you can send us an email with questions anytime. Write us an email to womensgamemib@menandblazers.com. Ask your question. Maybe we'll read it out loud on the show, or you can even call. You can leave us a voicemail if you call 855-611-4050. We just love hearing from you, and I always just want more. Okay, Lynn, we have our choice of a final segment. Do you have anything interesting happening in your life, sick and tired?
Okay, I do have a little bit of a thing, and I think you could have like potentially heard it on this podcast, but naturally it's a pregnancy thing, obviously. I feel like when I get on a roll with talking, I can't breathe. And so at the very end, I have to be like, and I'm sick and tired of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just really can't breathe.
Yeah. It seems like you are just growing a baby in there.
That I am, who's taking up my lung space.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sick and tired of that. You have one?
You know what I am sick and tired of? Having stains on my clothes.
What's happening?
Like, I just feel like sometimes you have you get a stain and it won't come out. I've had like 3 stain situations in the past week. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm constantly like, where's my time to go? I got to put this in the laundry. I got to get the stain out. And I'm just like,
it's endless.
It's just like, yes, I should be a little bit more careful. But it's just like, each one of them was like, it's just, one of them is a mystery stain. One of them was like a little droplet of soup. One of them was like an uncontrollable. And I'm just like,
that's my problem. Cause I want to start transitioning into like a little bit of like a capsule wardrobe where like, and like higher quality things.
We've got to talk garments soon.
Yeah. And like higher quality things. So I don't have to like continue to buy cheap stuff. But then shit like that happens where I'm like, now my thing is ruined because I stained it.
Staining is like literally because then it's just like, well, this has a yellow blob on the front.
Yeah.
Like I can't respectably wear it anymore. And it's like, what am I going to do? Just be a slob in it?
No, you can't possibly do that. Also, what is the sweatshirt you're wearing?
So upsetting. This sweatshirt?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Thank you so much. I'll send you the link. I wear it a lot. And you know what I think brown is like? I look good in brown.
You do look good in brown.
I think that black washes me out. I've been noticing when I wear black, I look pasty.
Yeah.
But I think brown is like, oh.
You should maybe try, not that you ever wear this, but brown mascara.
What's mascara?
What even is that?
I have also taken a recent interest in my wardrobe. Skin is next, but it's a ways away.
Next year.
I'm focusing on the clothes first. Okay, that was Sick and Tired. Sadly, this is the end of the show. We do have to get going, but we do get to leave our listeners with a good vibe before we go. I have a good vibe. I just returned from a trip, and I just had the best trip. I got to go to New York with my friend. We drove home together. We stopped in New Haven and got pizza. I visited my parents for 2 days, which I told everybody about last week. And then I visited my sister. I got to see my nephew. I got to see my friend in London. I got to go for walks. My travel went smoothly. And I'm just feeling really fortunate, lucky that I got to like break up my winter blues, get on the road, go on a little adventure, just go be authentic to myself. It was really, really great. And I'm feeling like really great about it. It was fun to get home. I'm thankful to be home. And my good vibe is just that I had such a great trip and I got to see so many people that I love.
Oh, I love that. My good vibe is that here in Australia, it's obviously summer. And we live like 10 minutes from the beach. And lately, me and Marley will just go down like a quick dip in the ocean. And it's been warm. And I just feel so like weightless in there. Like I can feel like myself a little bit. And I'm frolicking in the waves. And the waves feel healing and like spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like my body just feels like myself again. And it's just been the best, like, because I don't like baking in the sun. It's like not my thing. So it's like,
are you a mermaid?
A little bit.
Maybe you were a mermaid in another life.
I would love that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt with a joke.
It's okay.
Proceed.
But like even the other day we went in the morning and then we obviously did our whole day and then went back in the evening, and it was just like, it just makes me so happy. And I feel like I accomplished something in my day and I just feel like a new woman. And so if anybody has the ability to do that, you should do that.
My local body of water is ice. But that is a really good vibe, Lynn. I'm really happy for you. I'm glad that you're feeling weightless and just healed by the salt water.
Yeah, it's like my feet swelling goes down and my hand swelling goes down. I just feel like I literally can move freely.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Well, that's it, everybody. That's it for this week's episode of Good Vibes FC. I really hope you're already subscribed to this podcast feed and or YouTube channel, whatever you are watching and or listening on. Thank you so much for always coming back. If you really like the show, you could send it to a friend. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts, and it's on YouTube, and we're on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, whatever, at Women's Game MIB. Come back on Thursday for Friendlies with Lucy Bronze, and then come back again on Friday for Mu is Squared with Kristie and I. We have more stories from my trip to London. So I'll see you then. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye. I'm Limpy Lynn Biondolo.
Oh, I forgot that part. And I'm Sam Mewis, and we love you. Bye.
It's been weird. Bye.